Imagine capturing a moment that ultimately challenges everything we know about the world. Now, picture 20 such moments, each more mind-blowing than the last. These photos aren't just incredible, they've left scientists scratching their heads, skeptics speechless, and the world in awe. From unexplained natural wonders to eerie occurrences that defy logic, we're about to dive into a collection of images that are truly beyond belief. The Solway Firth spaceman. A father took a simple photo of his daughter, but the image contained something terrifying when the film was developed. It turned out to be an unknown figure standing right behind her, a figure that looked like something out of this world. On May 23, 1964, Jim Templeton, a firefighter amateur photographer from England, took a routine photograph of his young daughter while on an outing in Burgh Marsh, near the Solway Firth. However, when the film developed, one of the images contained something unexpected and disturbing. A tall, white figure resembling an astronaut standing directly behind the girl. Templeton was sure that no one else was present the day he took the picture, yet the figure appeared in the image, sparking one of the most captivating photographic mysteries of the 20th century. Templeton had taken 3 photos of his daughter in the same spot. Baffled, he took the photo to the local police, but they found nothing suspicious. He then sent it to Kodak, which confirmed that the image had not been tampered with. The photograph quickly spread across newspapers and became a worldwide sensation, attracting interest from UFO researchers and paranormal investigators. Not long after, it gained attention. Decades later, journalist and UFO researcher David Clark proposed a logical explanation. He suggested that the spaceman could have been Templeton's wife wearing a pale blue dress in the background. Due to overexposure, the dress might have appeared white, resembling a spacesuit. Despite this theory, Templeton remained convinced that no one was standing behind his daughter at that moment. Was it simply a trick of light and camera angles, or does the Solway Firth spaceman remain one of the most compelling pieces of unexplained photographic evidence? The Hook Island sea monster. In 1964, off the coast of Hook Island, Australia, a family vacationing on their boat spotted something terrifying, a creature so strange it defied belief. Robert Le Serac, a French photographer, and his family were enjoying the sun when they suddenly found themselves face to face with what appeared to be a massive sea monster, one that was nearly 90 feet long. This creature, later known as the Hook Island sea monster, resembled a giant tadpole or sea serpent. Its massive gaping mouth full of tiny teeth and its large bulbous head positioned atop a sleek black body made it look like something straight out of a nightmare fantasy. The creature's pale green eyes seemed almost lifelike, giving the entire spectacle an eerie, real-world quality. Le Serac and his family watched in disbelief as the creature swam towards their boat, its mouth wide open as if it were about to attack. But just as it seemed the monster might swallow them whole, it swam away into the deep blue, disappearing as mysteriously as it had appeared. Le Serac, ever the photographer, managed to snap a few close-up shots of the creature before it vanished forever. However, after the photograph developed, the creature never appeared again, and many began to question whether it was even real. Was this giant black sea monster truly a cryptid that had eluded humanity for centuries, or was it something far less supernatural? The Babushka Lady. On November 22, 1963, history changed forever when President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dealey Plaza, Texas. The tragedy was captured in film by numerous onlookers, most of whom were famously captured by Abraham Zapruder. However, among the crowd was a mysterious woman wearing a headscarf, later renamed the Babushka Lady due to her resemblance to Russian grandmothers. She was seen holding a camera, seemingly filming the assassination from an ideal vantage point. She was seen standing between Elm and Main Streets, positioned in front of the Dallas County building. While most onlookers ducked for cover as the gunshots rang out, she remained standing, holding her camera steady. After the shooting, she was seen crossing Eim Street, walking toward the grassy knoll, blending into the dispersing crowd. The Babushka Lady's position during the assassination was one of the best for capturing the events in detail. Given the ongoing debates about whether Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone or if there was a second shooter, her film could have provided invaluable evidence. However, no such footage has ever surfaced. Was it lost, destroyed, or taken by authorities before the public ever saw it? Later, in 1994, researcher Gary Mack testified before the Assassination Record Review Board, stating that a Kodak executive in Dallas had an interesting story. a woman in her early 30s with brunette hair brought in a film for development on the day of the assassination. She claimed to have run from Main Street to Elm Street, snapping photos of the presidential limousine and the Texas School Book Depository. However, the photo was blurry and virtually useless. The woman left without anyone recording her identity. Could this have been the Babushka lady? If so, her film didn't reveal anything groundbreaking, or so we're told. Was the Babushka lady's film taken because she captured something the public was never meant to see? Was she an innocent bystander, or did she hold a key piece of evidence? The Black Knight Satellite. The Black Knight Satellite is a popular conspiracy theory claiming that an extraterrestrial spacecraft has been orbiting Earth for 13,000 years and that NASA is hiding its existence. But where did this story come from? And is there any truth to it? The legend of the Black Knight with Nikola Tesla's radio experiments, where strange signals were received, later linked to pulsars discovered in 1960. In 1928, radio operator Jürgen Hals also picked up unusual echoes some theorists believed came from an ancient alien probe orbiting the Earth. In 1954, researcher Donald Keyhoe claimed that the US Air Force detected satellites in orbit, even though no country had the tech to launch them at the time. This sparked public interest in the idea of mysterious objects orbiting Earth. One of the most cited pieces of evidence is a 1988 NASA photo taken during the STS-88 mission, showing a space object believed to be the Black Knight satellite. NASA, however, identified it as space debris, possibly a thermal blanket lost during a spacewalk, not an alien satellite. Over the years, many of the claims surrounding the Black Knight have been debunked. Some of the theories were retracted by their original authors, including Duncan Lunan, who later admitted his conclusions were unscientific. Despite the lack of evidence, the Black Knight satellite theory still captures the imagination of many. It combines ancient alien myth with modern UFO lore, creating an ongoing mystery that some believe is being covered up by space agencies. The Solvay Conference. In the early 20th century, as scientific advancements in physics took unexpected turns, a pivotal meeting was held that would change the future of science. The Solvay Conference, first held in 1911 in Brussels, gathered the brightest minds of the time to discuss the emerging field of quantum mechanics. The conference brought together luminaries like Albert Einstein, Marie Curie, and Niels Bohr to confront the challenges of classical physics. The conference became a turning point, with physicists realizing they had reached a new frontier in understanding the physical world. The most famous moment of Solvay's history occurred during the 1927 conference when Einstein and Bohr clashed over the Heisenberg principle. Einstein famously said, "God does not play dice," rejecting the inherent randomness of quantum theory. Bohr's response, "Stop telling God what to do," became iconic, symbolizing the intense battle between determinism and uncertainty. A powerful image from this conference still resonates today, the group photo. In it, some of the most influential scientists in history, including Erwin Schrödinger, Werner Heisenberg, and Max Planck, stand side by side. It's often referred to as the most intelligent picture ever taken. The colonized version of the photo adds an emotional touch to the historic moment, forever capturing the quest for understanding that continues to influence modern science. The pale blue dot. On February 14, 1990, Voyager 1, a spacecraft that had been traveling through space since its launch in 1977, captured one of the most iconic and profound images ever taken. At a staggering 3.7 billion miles from Earth, Voyager 1 turned its camera back toward our planet and snapped an image known as the pale blue dot. At the time, Voyager 1 was on a mission to explore the outer planets of our solar system, having already passed Jupiter and Saturn, and was now making its way out of the solar system. NASA's mission planners decided to command the spacecraft to turn its camera towards Earth one last time, capturing 60 images that would form the first ever family portrait of the solar system. When the images were pieced together, Earth appeared as a tiny blue speck, a mere point of light about the size of a pixel, floating within a sunbeam. The photograph conveyed the insignificance of our planet in the vastness of the universe, making it clear just how small Earth truly is on a cosmic scale. The pale dot was not just a photograph, but a profound reflection of humanity's place in the universe. The late Carl Sagan, a renowned planetary scientist and member of the Voyager team, was deeply moved by this image. Nikola Tesla, captured in his laboratory. Imagine a world where electricity flows freely without wires, where messages are sent across the globe, and even to other planets. Now imagine a man so ahead of time that he spent his days experimenting with those very ideas in a lab filled with crackling electricity and lightning bolts. In a remarkable historical moment, Nikola Tesla was photographed in his laboratory around 1899 in what is now one of the most iconic images of the inventor's life. The double-exposed photograph taken in Colorado Springs shows Tesla seated beneath his magnifying transmitter, a machine he had constructed to generate high-voltage electrical arcs. These arcs, reaching lengths of up to 22 feet, crackle with energy, and Tesla is captured mid-action as he forces the machine to produce inefficient arcs, turning it on and off during the photo shoot for the Century magazine. The awe-inspiring and somewhat chaotic image perfectly represents Tesla's visionary ambition. At the time this photograph was taken, Tesla was busy with one of his boldest ideas yet, an attempt to send messages not just across vast distances on Earth, but also to other planets. The unfinished pyramid. A peculiar pyramid-like structure recently grabbed the internet's attention, not in the heart of an ancient civilization, but buried in the icy expanse of Antarctica. This mysterious mountain, found in the Ellsworth Mountains, particularly the Heritage Range, has captured countless people online. Satellite images reveal a mountain with sharp, pyramid-like sides. But what's the real story behind this so-called unfinished pyramid? Discovered by aviator Lincoln Ellsworth in 1935, this unarmed peak is nestled deep in the frozen expanse of Antarctica. At just 4,150 feet, it is no towering giant compared to Mount Everest. But how did it form? While some have speculated about ancient civilizations, experts lean towards a more natural explanation. Geologists believe the shape is the result of freeze-thaw erosion. Some reports suggest this pyramid is a recent discovery, but experts reveal it has been known for decades. A research base in Antarctica is not far from this peak, and scientists working in the region likely saw this mountain long before the satellite images sparked viral attention. Apollo 11's historic moonwalk. On July 20, 1969, the world witnessed a moment that would forever change the course of history. The first humans set foot on the moon, while Neil Armstrong's step is forever immortalized in the phrase, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Buzz Aldrin made his own mark as the second astronaut to walk on the lunar surface. The Apollo 11 astronauts, Armstrong, Aldrin, and Michael Collins, weren't formally trained as photographers, but they were tasked with capturing the monumental event. The images they took went beyond scientific documentation and became cultural touchstones. Buzz Aldrin, in particular, was featured in some of the most memorable photographs from the mission. One of the most famous images from Apollo 11 shows Aldrin standing on the moon's dusty surface next to the US flag. These images became iconic even beyond the scientific community. Aldrin's photo standing next to the flag inspired MTV's logo when it launched in 1981. The simplicity and majesty of the photo spoke to both the scientific achievement and the pop culture world, blending history with the emerging trends of the time. Apollo 8's Earthrise. December 24, 1968. 3 astronauts are hurtling through the void, farther from Earth than any human has ever traveled. They are the crew of Apollo 8, the first manned mission to orbit the moon. Commander Frank Borman, Command Module Pilot Jim Lovell, and Lunar Module Pilot William Anders have spent the last 3 days locked inside a small spacecraft, their every move calculated, their mission clear, to pave the way for the moon landing by testing systems, perfecting orbits, and proving that mankind can navigate the hostile depths of space. But none of them are prepared for what they are about to witness. As Apollo 8 rounds the moon for the 4th time, something unexpected appears outside the window, a glowing blue sphere rising above the stark, lifeless horizon. It is Earth. At first, the crew is stunned. The moon, so dominant just moments before, suddenly feels insignificant compared to the brilliant, fragile oasis hanging in the blackness of space. Then, in a moment of instinct and urgency, William Anders grabs the only color film camera on board and captures what will become one of the most famous photographs in human history, Earthrise. By 1970, the image had become a rallying symbol for the growing environmental movement, appearing on posters during the very first Earth Day. It inspired legislation. Many historians credit the emotional power of Earthrise with helping to fuel environmental policies like the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, and the formation of the Environmental Protection Agency in the years that followed. The priest and a dying soldier. On June 4, 1962, the streets of Puerto Cabello, Venezuela, were a battlefield. El Portonazo, a violent military rebellion against President Romulo Betancourt, had erupted, and government forces were engaged in a deadly struggle to suppress the insurgents. The air was thick with smoke, the sound of gunfire echoed through the city, and bodies lay scattered in the streets. Amid the chaos, one man walked unarmed through the crossfire, Navy chaplain Luis Padilla. Wearing only his cassock and carrying his faith, Padilla moved between the wounded and the dying, administering last rites. It was at this moment that Hector Rondon Lovera, a photographer for La Repubblica, captured one of the most powerful war images in history. The now iconic photograph shows a mortally wounded soldier clinging to the priest's robe, his strength fading as he struggles to stand. Bullets are flying, and the ground is shattered from sniper fire, yet Padilla remains, looking toward the unseen shooter. The uprising lasted just 4 days, leaving over 400 dead and 700 wounded before the government crushed the rebellion. Those who weren't killed or captured fled into the jungle, and their revolution was lost to history. Yet this one image survived, winning the 1963 Pulitzer Prize for photography and cementing itself as a symbol of war's devastation and the quiet, unwavering courage of those who choose to stand in the face of death. The horror of nuclear destruction. Some images don't just capture history, they define it. On August 9, 1945, as the world teetered on the edge of an uncertain future, a single photograph would become an eternal symbol of destruction. It was the image of a 45,000-foot mushroom cloud rising over Nagasaki moments after the US dropped the second atomic bomb, Fat Man. The explosion, more powerful than anything humanity had ever witnessed, would claim 80,000 lives in an instant, and many more in the years that followed due to radiation poisoning. This historic image was taken by Lieutenant Charles Levy. What he saw was something beyond comprehension. The explosion was so intense that it was sharper and brighter than double daylight itself inside the plane. As he and his crew watched, a colossal column of smoke and fire twisted and churned like a living entity, its colors shifting from deep purple to fiery red and blinding white. It was more than an explosion, it was a force of nature, a terrifying display of power that mankind could no longer contain. US President Harry S. Truman had warned Japan that refusal to surrender would bring a rain of ruin from the air, the likes of which has never been seen on this earth. His words were no exaggeration. Yet, while the world saw the iconic mushroom cloud in Levy's photograph, the true horrors remained hidden. Images of charred bodies, shadows burned into walls, and entire families wiped from existence were censored. The world was given a symbol of military might, but the human cost of that power was concealed. The protesting Buddhist monk. The photo of Thich Quang Duc's self-immolation became one of the most iconic images of protest in modern history. Captured on June 11, 1963, the moment was incredibly powerful, showing the Buddhist monk sitting cross-legged, engulfed in flames, with a serene expression on his face. On June 11, 1963, a quiet street in Saigon transformed into the backdrop of an unforgettable act of protest. As onlookers gathered, a Buddhist monk named Thich Quang Duc calmly seated himself in the middle of the road. Dressed in saffron robes, he assumed a meditative posture, completely still, until a fellow monk doused him in gasoline. Moments later, he struck a match, and in an instant, his entire body was engulfed in flames. What followed was one of the most haunting displays of human willpower ever witnessed. While his flesh burned, he never moved, never screamed, never flinched. He remained seated in deep meditation as the flames consumed him. The stunned silence of the crowd was soon shattered by wails of grief and disbelief. Even police officers, ordered to maintain control, fell to their knees in reverence. Photographer Malcolm Brown, present that day, captured the moment in a photograph that would soon shake the world. The image of the burning monk spread like wildfire, forcing the international community to take notice of the brutal religious oppression in South Vietnam. Upon seeing the image, US President John F. Kennedy remarked that no news picture in history has generated so much emotion around the world as the burning monk photograph. The face on Mars. In 1976, NASA's Viking 1 orbiter captured an image that sent shockwaves through the scientific community and beyond. A massive rock formation in the Cydonia region of Mars appeared to resemble a human face staring back at us. Was this the remains of an ancient alien civilization, a sign that intelligent life once thrived on the red planet? Or is it simply a trick of light and shadows? For decades, conspiracy theories and wild speculations have surrounded the so-called face on Mars. Some believe it is evidence of extraterrestrial architects, while others point to ancient ruins hidden beneath the Martian dust. But that hasn't stopped the believers. Even today, some argue that NASA is hiding the truth. Could there still be something beneath the surface waiting to be uncovered? Or is this just another case of pareidolia, the human brain seeing patterns that aren't there? The 9,000-year-old Stonehenge. Beneath the murky waters of Lake Michigan, a staggering discovery has left scientists baffled. An ancient stone circle, eerily similar to England's Stonehenge, but thousands of years older. In 2007, underwater archaeologist Dr. Mark Holley and his team were scanning the lakebed near Traverse City when their sonar picked up something astonishing. A formation of massive stones, some weighing over 3,000 pounds, deliberately arranged in a circular pattern. But what truly shocked them was a carving on one of the stones. A mastodon, a prehistoric creature that went extinct over 10,000 years ago. How is this possible? Could this be evidence of a lost civilization, with knowledge far beyond what history tells us? Similar formations have been found in Lake Huron, suggesting that early civilizations in North America were far more advanced than we ever imagined. With cutting-edge technology like stereophotogrammetry, scientists are piecing together the puzzle, creating a digital 3D model of the site in hopes of unlocking its secrets. The Hubble Deep Field. The Hubble Deep Field, HDF, is an iconic image taken by the Hubble Space Telescope in December 1995. It captures a small patch of sky in Ursa Major, about 2.6 arc-minutes across, roughly 1/24 millionth of the sky. Despite its tiny size, the image contains 3,000 galaxies, many of which are extremely distant and young, providing a glimpse into the early universe. The Hubble Deep Field was created from 342 exposures taken with Hubble's Wide Field and Planetary Camera 2 over 10 days. The galaxies in the image are seen as they were billions of years ago, showing the evolution of the cosmos. This groundbreaking observation revealed the universe's vastness and variety, strengthening the cosmological principle that the universe is uniform on large scales. Following the Hubble Deep Field, a similar observation called the Hubble Deep Field South was made in the southern hemisphere. Later, deeper images like the Hubble Ultra Deep Field in 2004 and the Hubble Extreme Deep Field in 2012 offered even more detailed views of distant galaxies. The HDF remains a milestone in astronomy, revealing the universe's immense scale and the development of galaxies over time. The mysterious case of Deloy's ape. In the dense jungles of Venezuela, an oil expedition led by Swiss geologist François Deloy in 1920 stumbled upon something shocking, an aggressive, human-like primate unlike anything ever seen before. As the creature reportedly attacked the group, Deloy's men opened fire, killing what they claimed was a 4-foot 5-inch tailless ape. The only proof? A single photograph. Years later, French anthropologist Georges Montandon examined the image and proclaimed it a groundbreaking discovery, an entirely new species of primate, the Amaranthropoides loysi. If true, it would be the first known ape native to the Americas, rewriting everything we thought we knew about evolution. But experts weren't convinced. Skeptics pointed out striking similarities between the creature and an ordinary spider monkey, suggesting the image was a hoax. The missing tail? A trick of positioning. The large size? An exaggeration. The claims of aggression? Highly suspect. So, was it an elaborate hoax or an undiscovered primate lost to history? The answer may forever remain buried in the depths of the Venezuelan jungle. Robert Cornelius selfie. In 1839, long before the age of smartphones and social media, Robert Cornelius, an amateur chemist and photography enthusiast, captured what would become one of the most iconic moments in the history of photography, the first ever selfie. Working in his family's store in Philadelphia, Cornelius set up his camera, removed the lens cap, ran into the frame, and sat still for a minute before covering the lens again. The result? A self-portrait that would go down in history as the earliest known photographic self-portrait. This wasn't just any photo. It marked a groundbreaking moment in photography when Cornelius took the risk of being both the photographer and the subject, pioneering an idea that would explode in the digital age centuries later. On the back of the image, Cornelius even wrote, "The first light picture ever taken, 1839, solidifying his achievement as the creator of the first photographic selfie. This moment wasn't just a snapshot, it was a leap forward in technology and creativity, setting the stage for the millions of selfies that would follow in the 21st century. Cornelius's selfie was captured at a time when photography was still in its infancy, and the act of taking such a personal photograph was an incredible achievement. The Migrant Mother. Migrant Mother is a famous 1936 photograph by Dorothea Lange, taken in Nipomo, California during the Great Depression. It depicts a mother, Florence Owens Thompson, anxiously gazing into the distance with an infant in her lap and two older children huddling close by. The photograph highlights the struggles of migrant farm workers who flocked to California seeking work during the economic crisis. Initially anonymous, the woman was later identified as Florence Owens Thompson in 1978 through the efforts of a journalist. The photograph became an iconic symbol of the hardship faced by many families during the era. Lange's composition focuses on the mother, with the children's faces turned away, emphasizing her expression of worry. This intimate and stark image remains a classic of American art and is housed at the Museum of Modern Art in New York. Since its publication, it has been reproduced widely in various media, cementing its place as a powerful symbol of the Great Depression. Raising the flag on Iwo Jima. On February 23, 1945, Joe Rosenthal took a picture that has now become one of the most iconic images of World War II. The photograph shows 6 U.S. Marines raising the American flag atop Mount Suribachi during the Battle of Iwo Jima. Taken after the mountaintop was captured, the image symbolized victory and strength for Americans and won the 1945 Pulitzer Prize for photography. The 6 Marines in the photo were part of the 5th Marine Division, and tragically, 3 of them, Sergeant Michael Strank, Corporal Harlan Block, and Private Franklin Sousley, would lose their lives during the battle. There was confusion over the identities of some of the men in the photograph for years, with some incorrectly named until investigations and re-identifications occurred decades later. The photograph has become a lasting symbol of sacrifice and heroism and remains one of the most recognized images worldwide. These 20 photos have left even scientists baffled. Are they hoaxes or proof of something beyond our understanding? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more intriguing content like this.